Alright, so that is Final Fantasy VII banner, and we're going to move on to the next. Next on the list, I am going to go into the Mobius Final Fantasy, which is a Final Fantasy 1 event. And the reason why we suspect that we may not get this is because Maya, the character that is released in this event, actually hasn't been released in Global Mobius yet. Because they're dragging their feet, apparently. However, is from what I've been hearing from Mobius players, is that according to their timetable, it is unlikely that Maya will be released until sometime around December of this year. So them delaying this event that long is highly unlikely. So we got an interesting situation. Do they not do this event at all? Because December is obviously way too late. Or do they give it to us anyway, and do we get Maya as a Mobius character before the Mobius players do? Which would be kind of funny. And honestly, it's a 50-50, pure speculation. Have no idea. We will find out probably Tuesday, because we'll have the announcement mined for the Thursday event on Tuesday night. But yeah, I mean, we'll find out. Well, that's different, Shimra. Because that was an event that was on the timeline for that point. So it made sense for it to be delayed for us, because when it appeared, it was at the proper point of power creep. This event is supposed to, for Japan, to be right now. And if they delayed it for 6 months, then that would mean it would be delayed on the power creep curve for 6 months. They would have to completely gut the banner and the entire event and redo it over, which is something that they've shown that they are unwilling to do in the past. So that's not going to happen. So either we're going to get this event now and we're going to get Maya before them, or we're probably not going to ever get this event. And maybe they'll throw in Maya for us when it is a Mobius event. Maya does actually look pretty decent. However, it does suffer from the Final Fantasy 1 event syndrome, where it's just not terribly useful to pull on their banners. You'll see when you get to the banners. Warrior of Light and Echo, and Sarah, if you have her burst, are probably the only characters worth pulling for in the realm. So, anyway, let's get back to the event. We have Maya, new character, Black Magic 5, Summon 5, Witch 4. Witch 4 is bad, but we have, what we're looking for in a mage. Typical equipment, stats look nice and squishy as usual. Summon damage up, small, black damage, blah, blah. Medium chance of becoming a Leviathan. It's all awful record materia. Oh, Witch is diveable to 5, so she can use the worst part of Witch, which is Witch 5, instead of Witch 4, which is the only useful part. And now we'll move on to the route banners. So May is a decent character, at least by a stat and ability basis. Talk me out of pulling on this banner. Don't pull on this banner. I'm not going to suggest anyone pulls on this banner. It's actually pretty awful. And this is the reason why. Wall is a bad character, and he highlights the banner with his burst, his bad burst, and his bad USB. So Wall's USB, we have 8 single target physical, enemy dispel, and crash condition. So this is single target physical. So the enemy dispel isn't as useful as you'd like it to be. Area of effect or the variable, like Ferris's USB, would be preferred when you're attacking on something like enemy dispel, and the crash condition as well. I believe it reduces the defense and resistance of the enemy for 8 seconds, but at a very large amount. So what you're meant to do is use this USB and then queue up a ton of high power things afterward. However, fights never end up as neat and clean as that, so it, you know, I don't know, it's just a lot of setup for not enough payoff, I guess. You know, with Wall being a bad character, you know, definitely impacts it as well. Maya's burst is actually pretty decent. We have Area of Effect, Water Non-Elemental. And we have one of those summoning bursts. First command is a Stitch in Time that activates summoning mode. So that's kind of nice, because that's something you usually want to cast first anyway. In other similar bursts, when Stitch of Time is on the second command, use the second command and then you start up with your damaging command, whether that be single target or area of effect. So you want this to be on your first cast anyway, and gives you extra incentive to use the summoning mode. And from there we get 4 times single target with the increased multiplier with the summoning mode. Or you can just do the 4 times single target if you don't want to use the summoning mode. I wouldn't ever suggest doing that. And if you want to do AoE damage, you just spam command 1. It's really just a lot of pageantry surrounding a normal 4 times single target, 2 times AoE burst. Because this gives you Stitch in Time, and then you do 4 times AoE every other turn, so it's like doing 2 times AoE every turn. Or you Stitch in Time, and you get that. Really is just an elaborate way of saying that this is a typical water burst. It will be, if this event appears before the Final Fantasy VI event, the best water burst for mages in the game. Because Gogo, unfortunately, doesn't have has his bases covered as well as this does. However, it gets taken off the top by Strago very soon after in the Final Fantasy VI event. Yep, it is summoning type, and that's always a nice thing. Love to see summoning type. So this is actually a decent burst. Wall's burst, we've already gone by down over this. It's just a full breakdown burst where you do single target random, you know, debuff the entire enemy crew with full breakdown, and then you get attack and magic breakdown. Oh, wait a second. No, you don't. It's even worse. 4 times single target damage and stun/interrupt. Oh, God. No, this is just such a bad burst. 2 times AoE attack and defense minus 20%. So this is kind of interesting. However, I mean, yeah, Wall's just a bad character. Wow. This shows up everywhere. Sarah's burst is really good. Cura Medica, Party Magic Blink. It's the only healer burst that gives Magic Blink. And Self-Mind Resistance plus 30%. This is just such an excellent healer burst. And the commands are your typical 0 cast time and Medica, which is nice. And I like the change. Well, you lose the Kiraja. You instead gain high regen to whoever you use it on. I like this. And especially when you consider that she's buffing her mind by 30% on cast. It means she's pushing out higher heals anyway. So, losing the Kiraja for high regen is actually kind of nice. So I really love Sarah's Burst Soul Break. Now we move into the supers, which is Maya's super. That's bad. Matoya, Black Robe, what's that 5 mean? Oh. Sarah's armor, I missed it, is plus holy damage, so that's also... I mean, this is probably the best relic on the banner, Sarah's Burst. And this is like the 3rd or 4th banner that it's appeared on. It's just, it's a really enduring good burst. Bad. Black Robe. is small resistance ice damage. Don't care. Party attack magic and high regen. It's okay. Sid mission only though. Echo Seraphic Rod. This is actually good. Party shell resistance plus 50% in haste. This is a really interesting Super Soul Break. Definitely one of the better Sid mission things you can get. And it's on Echo, who is one of the best characters in the realm. Remember, Warrior of Light, Echo, and Sarah are the best characters there. And we have Warrior of Light's Braveheart. Party Physical Blink, AoE physical damage, non-elemental, not good. And Wall's Blank Gear. They don't even give us Wall's actually good Soul Break. And because he has a minus attack and magic Soul Break. Oh no, I think it's a super though. So, Jesus, this banner. So this banner, good, and then it kind of falls off where it only has this for something good at the bottom. Yeah, it's a pretty bad banner, unfortunately. Yep. So do not recommend any pulls on it. I don't have any Final Fantasy 1 synergy, and I bet you probably don't either. And I don't think this is worth a pull. Especially when you consider all the good stuff that's coming. Just, you know, roll the dice, be like me, hope that you pull some Final Fantasy 1 stuff to help you out in the realm on festival banners and luckies and stuff like that. This realm banner itself is just terrible. Yeah, just pass. Sorry, Sarah. I want your burst someday. This is just not the place to get it. Any questions? Dragon, yes. Chain Waterga is definitely worth a hone or two. I will be honing my Chain Waterga to R3 immediately. Any rating tonight? Yes, I will be rating tonight. After I'm done the event previews, I will raid until I get the necessary stamina to do the Ultimate and Ultimate Plus Plus and the Apocalypse Plus. Multiplayer is Omniscient, so it's a magic-only fight. So we're going to be debuffing with dancing, and he's slightly fire vulnerable, so keep that in mind. Is there a banner 2 for the May event? Holy shit, there is! Holy crap, Lemonade, you saved me. I don't know, I guess got in the groove because of the Awakening Cloud event. I completely forgot that there was a banner 2 here. Garland OSB. Oh god, maybe this is why I forgot about it. Garland does not get good until he gets his Chain Soul Break. He's the holder of the Darkness Chain, but that comes in the future in a festival. Semi-festival. RS Dark Damage up, of course it is, because we don't want to give good things to people that need them, right? Stats does not give +3 attack. I guarantee you it gives more than +3 attack. One single target multiplier increases the enemy has weakness. So that's actually a decent OSB. Unfortunately, it's an OSB and it has a high ceiling. It can only be so good. And the fact that it's on Garland means it's not a valuable OSB. OSBs are bonuses. You want an OSB on a character that is already good without it, and that just adds a little garnish. I guarantee you do not have Terra's Ultra. It's not released yet. It won't be released until the end of the month in Extreme Festival. You're probably talking about a OSB. Alright, next we have Echo Burst Soul Break. I believe this is her first. Yep, this is her first. Burst Soul Break. Her second is the debuffer. We have Wisdom Cane, and I, again, promise you it does not get +1 magic. Medica, 40% max HP, which is nice. Party, magic resistance plus 30%, that's nice. And burst mode. Let's see what the burst commands are. We have 4 times single target, lightning non-elemental. Sure. So we got a Medica and a party buff, and then she goes into lightning, and then gets a dance command. A magic breakdown command with a chance to stop. So this is like a mishmash of Heathen Frolic Saraband and Halting Rumba. I don't know, sure. I like it. I mean, Echo's a really good character. So this is fine. It's pretty good. Because it kind of plays into her, she's a dancer. She's basically the support of Final Fantasy 1. So you get something that buffs and heals and not linked to mind, thank goodness. Though I don't think her mind is terrible, so it wouldn't matter that much. And she gets an area of effect dance, which kind of mimics the ability. I don't know. I think her Burst Soul Break 2 is definitely the better out of her kit. But still, this is a nice opener. So I'd probably just use that with abilities and consider using this. So say how you'd build her would be with use the burst, use this as your magic breakdown, and then carry multi-break and power breakdown as your 2 abilities, and you cover all 3 of the highly relevant stat debuffs. So it's a good burst, just not as good as her burst 2. Master Monk, we know this one's good. Very, very high damage. Non-elemental physical burst. 10 single target, self-guts, and that's good. Guts is last stand. And having last stand with this is really good because he is a wild mode. I forget what we were calling that. Unbound Fury. I think that's it. I need to know. Yes, Unbound Fury. And what Unbound Fury does is it makes him attack faster and reduces his defense and resistance by -40%. So he just becomes a glass cannon. So not only do you attack faster with Unbound Fury, but he actually does 8 attacks with his first command, and this is why he does so much damage. He just pays all of his defenses as a cost. And that's why it's good to have last stand on him, because you don't want him to just off himself like Yang decides to do. Yep. So that's a good burst. So we got pretty good burst, very good burst, and next we have Garland's Awful Burst. We use 6 times Dark Single Target and End Dark. The commands are 1 single target, Drain Strike, and 2 AoE with a high crit rate. That is not enough damage. Darkness characters don't have great abilities yet, and they definitely still don't get them because the one in the Cloud event is awful. So with bad low damage commands, that makes this burst really bad. Eventually Garland gets better, but it's because of his CSB and 5-star abilities that eventually get released for physical that make them good. That's bad. Master Monk, Super Soul Break, we have Self and Self Instacast 2. It's okay. Sure. That's alright as a Super Soul Break. More complimentary. I mean, I guess Sid Mission 2, because if you're looking for synergy at all, that's a pretty good thing to have. Wall's Arc Slash. And this is what I was talking about on the first banner. Wall's only good Soul Break. 4 times AoE and enemy attack and magic -40%. This is the same thing that appears on Sea Lord's Broadside and Shatterheart and Goddess Spell and stuff like that. One of the ancient debuffing Soul Breaks. However, it does Super Soul Break version damage, which is not that much of an improvement, especially in Wall's hands. However, this is a very good Soul Break. Sarah Medica and Party Haste, sure. Echo's Fabled Maracas, and this is also a very good Soul Break. And this is why Echo is such a good character, because there are very few things that Echo has that aren't at least average or better. Area of effect and enemy minus magic and resistance minus 50%. It's pretty good. I mean, that is the same status that's on Fusion and Malik's burst Soul Breaks, except it's a minus 50% instead of 40. Obviously, it's not a burst, and those two bursts have great commands. However, that's still a very valuable status. And the maracas themselves are a chance to confuse on hit. Oh, okay. Yeah, not valuable. Garland's Axe. We have 5 times AoE, Dark Non-Elemental, enemy attack and defense minus 50%. That's actually, it's pretty good. It's a hell of a lot better than his bursts, that's for sure. So, what's interesting about this banner is the top end is the shit. Where we have Echo and Master Monk. And the bottom end, we have 4 good relics here. But that just means the banner is pretty low value when only the bottom end is any good. You're not pulling on the banner to get stuff up here and okay with consolation prizes. When you're pulling on the banner and you pull what should be the prizes and you get disappointed by them. So unfortunately, pretty bad banner, but that's expected because it's Final Fantasy 1, and Warrior of Light does not really show up here except for one of his worst soul breaks. So, bad event. Yeah. I mean, if you feel like you desperately need Final Fantasy 1 synergy, the second banner would be the better of the two. Yes. Okay, again, another questions. Now, Max, that's not Dire Hail is the best darkness ability for that's currently released, and then we have Memento Mori and Dark Bargain. However, there will be darkness abilities coming. This is what I was talking about in regards to Garland, that are good for physical darkness. That would be, I believe, Dire Weapon and Crimson Cross. Dire Weapon is a chain drain strike. So they move this away from Spellblade and give it to Darkness instead, which is nice. I mean, obviously, for all Spellblade users, I'm one of them. I wish it was a 5-star Spellblade ability. However, they gave it to Darkness, and that's a good thing because Darkness needed the help. And this is an excellent ability that gives them the help. 2 single attacks at 1.5 each. This is a 3.0 multiplier. It's fairly high. And heals user for 20% of damage dealt. Since you're doing 2 hits, the healing potential of this ability is actually quite high. And then you have the second command, which is, remember Sanguine Cross? We had 2 single attacks at 1.9 that damages a user for 25% max HP. That was not good, because it wasn't worth damaging yourself 25% for just 2 single attacks, even if it was a high multiplier. There were niche situations where that was a useful ability. However, not that good. But now we get Crimson Cross, which is a lot better. We have a giant multiplier in 4.2 over 4 attacks, and it only damages for 30% of your max HP. This is a much better trade-off, and these two go together very well. I would absolutely not mind running a character where I alternated these. And there will be Darkness characters where I want to do that. Say you have Sephiroth, where with his excellent Burst Soul Break too, I'd probably just prefer to use his Burst Soul Break and skip over stuff like this. However, with someone like Garland and his Chain Soul Break, or Sephiroth once you get his USB, then these become much more valuable. Though I believe Sephiroth would probably be better off using Life Siphon, just because of the way his USB works. Anyway, these abilities are actually good. Unfortunately, we are getting these two Darkness abilities in the Final Fantasy VII event, and these are still into the future. These are probably going to be instant shatters for me. This is just so conditional. Like, have to be below 5 seconds on your Doom timer for it to reach its actual potential. I mean, it can be good in some situations at lower, because you're at least hitting 3 or 4 attacks. However, it's just not enough. Not enough. Okay. There is no CM or high-level content for the Final Fantasy 1 event. I did not know that. So, yeah, that further solidifies my suggestion to do not pull on this banner, or either of these banners. There's no reason to. I will have enough